The envelope arrived on a Thursday afternoon, mixed in with grocery coupons and a water bill. I almost threw it away unopened. The return address belonged to a law office 2 counties over. My father had temporarily forwarded some of his mail to my house a few months earlier after moving into a smaller apartment during renovations. Most of it was harmless paperwork. This looked the same. Until I opened it. Inside was a formal notice involving medical directives and estate revisions, dense legal language, signatures, attached documentation, and one name I had never seen before, Elena Mercer. Below it, a date of birth, 4 months after mine. I sat down on the kitchen floor without fully deciding to. At first I thought it had to be administrative confusion. Maybe someone unrelated with the same last name. Maybe an old clerical error connected to insurance. Then memory began moving. Not consciously, like furniture rearranging itself in the dark. Business trips. Separate weekend obligations. The strange way my father sometimes disappeared emotionally during holidays, even when physically present. Tiny things I had filed under adulthood. I read the birth date again. 4 months. Not before me. Not after another life. During. I called him immediately. He answered on the first ring. "Hey," he said warmly. "Everything all right?" I remember staring at the wall while holding the papers. Then I said her name. Silence. Not confusion. Not denial. Silence with structure inside it. The kind people use when their mind is rapidly reorganizing reality. Finally, he asked quietly, "Where did you get that?" And before he confirmed anything, I already knew. My father came over that night carrying the same tired expression he used after funerals. He looked older than he had a week earlier. We sat at my kitchen table for almost 10 minutes before either of us spoke properly. "I was going to tell you," he said eventually. I nodded once. It's strange how quickly adults revert to childhood versions of themselves around their parents. Suddenly I was 14 again, waiting for explanations I already knew wouldn't fully arrive. "How long did you think you had?" I asked. He rubbed both hands together slowly. "That's the problem," he said. Every year it became harder. Not impossible, harder. That distinction mattered. He told me about Elena's mother in fragments. Never enough to build sympathy cleanly. Never enough to excuse anything either. What unsettled me most was the logistics. 2 birthdays in the same season, 2 sets of school events, 2 routines. He hadn't abandoned one family for another. He maintained both. Somehow that felt worse. Not more cruel exactly. More deliberate. Over the next few days, my childhood reorganized itself retroactively. Memory became unreliable. I'd remember him missing one of my soccer tournaments and immediately wonder where he actually was that afternoon. I found old receipts while cleaning out a drawer after he left. Restaurant names from towns he'd never mentioned to us. The terrifying thing was how ordinary everything still looked. Our family photos remained unchanged. Christmas mornings still existed. Vacations still happened. Love had been present. So had deception. The human brain struggles to hold both truths at once. I didn't meet Elena immediately. Neither of us pushed for it. According to my father, she had only recently learned about me too, which somehow shifted the emotional gravity entirely. She wasn't evidence. She was another person standing inside the same collapse. That realization softened something in me against my will. Weeks later, my father suffered a minor stroke. Not catastrophic, but serious enough that legal and medical procedures suddenly accelerated everything secrecy had delayed. At the hospital, a case administrator entered the waiting room holding paperwork. "We need clarification on immediate family contacts and medical authority." Professional voice, neutral tone. Then the names started. Mine. Elena's. Relationship classifications spoken aloud under fluorescent lights while strangers typed them into official records. That was the moment the hidden structure of our family became irreversible reality. Not during confession. Not during discovery. There, in a hospital corridor where paperwork forced everyone into the same truth simultaneously, I saw Elena for the first time across the waiting room. She looked almost nothing like me at first glance. Then she crossed her arms exactly the way our father did when nervous. It hit me physically, not emotionally. physically, like recognition bypassed thought. Neither of us approached immediately. We just occupied the same room awkwardly while nurses moved around us, two people rearranging their identities in real time. My father became more honest after the stroke, or maybe just more tired. He admitted he spent years believing he could prevent damage by keeping both lives separated carefully enough. I thought disclosure would destroy everyone, he said. And this didn't? I asked. He looked down after that. There are some questions old age doesn't protect people from. Elena and I eventually met for coffee 3 months later. The conversation stayed cautious, polite, occasionally strange. We kept discovering small shared habits accidentally. Same nervous laugh, same tendency to pause before answering personal questions, same preference for stirring drinks long after sugar dissolved, inherited things. Conversation stretched longer than either of us planned. When we finally stood to leave, neither of us used words like brother or sister. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But neither of us walked away quickly either. Last night I found an old birthday card from my father while cleaning a drawer. Simple handwriting. Familiar. For most of my life, those letters belonged entirely to my childhood memories. Now they don't. Now somewhere else, in another home, another drawer probably exists containing the same handwriting addressed to someone born 4 months after me, and somehow that realization still changes shape every time I think about it.